we like to talk a little bit about the new segment we are going to introduce on business today. It's called The Road to Business. Well, it's self-understood what we're talking about. We're talking about giving you tips to make sure your business venture is successful and it's sustainable for many more years to come. So we have invited a professional to join us every week, every Wednesday from 10 p.m. onwards on the show as a separate segment named Business Road to Business, and he will talk to you about how you can turn an unsuccessful, unprofitable business into a good business, into a profitable and sustainable business, and to make sure that you're smiling and that you are having a lot of money coming in to your pockets. So there we go, that's what we're going to talk to you about, and the personality joining us is Mr. Heshan Edirisinghe. He's the CEO of Vitro Communications. A very good evening to you.
Evening to you too. Thanks for having me.
Right, so today we want to talk about something everybody's sort of dying to hold on to. If you take the business cycle, there's ups and downs, boom to bust. There's depression, recession, and then there's, coming up a little bit, recovery, boom, then you go bust again. So people want to stop this volatility, stop the volatility of fluctuations.
Yeah.
And they say people are facing a recession, if the economy is facing a recession, they just want to pull out. That's the attitude that's generally there. Even in terms of the stock exchange, if the stocks are not performing, they just want to run away.
Right.
Okay, so what should happen there?
Well, we normally see when the markets are going down, it's a very good way to grow your business because everyone's cutting back on their marketing costs and cutting back on the opportunities to reach the markets which are not being advertised. So when it comes to a small and medium level enterprise, most businesses, they are stagnant for 2-3 revenue generating channels. Probably they do business through referrals, and they will probably market themselves through advertising. But there are so many different revenue generating channels you can market your business. So it's very important that a business has more revenue generating channels because it doesn't actually cost a lot to have more. For example, if you take online, it's not that hard. It doesn't cost a lot to have a proper online strategy to get leads and sales. So if you have more revenue channels, that's number one. And also you need to optimize your revenue generating process. If there's a company which has 5 people, let's say a small and medium level business, those 5 people could be utilized better than they're already doing. There could be a receptionist who is only answering the incoming calls, but you could probably organize that person to have a script, and whenever the off-peak hours for that person is there, she can call on customers, she can call on cold calls, she can do cold calls and follow up on sales. So it's about having more revenue generating channels and also optimizing your existing business.
Right, so my understanding is that you take unsuccessful businesses that are making losses and you give them a makeover, revamp them to make sure that they're making profits once again. What is the process here? What do you do?
Yes, it's both ends. It could be unsuccessful business. It also could be business which are already doing some level of business. What we do is we first see, okay, how are they already earning money? If a business is already there, there is something which is bringing in money. That's why they're already there. We look at the revenue generating processes for that business, and we dissect them. We break it apart and see, okay, where can we optimize, where can we improve the revenue generation process. Once we do that, we multiply the number of revenue generation processes, right? So if I can give you an example, okay, we have a client who is in the acupressure therapy. It's an acupuncture without needles. They initially, it's a small and level medium business. They initially had the money coming in only through one marketing channel, which was referrals, right? Even that was not systematized properly. So they were working so hard on the operations end, but they were doing so much less effort to bring in more customers. So there were times where business is so dependent upon the referrals. So for instance, like that, what could be done is see, okay, how can we systematize the referral process? How can we get customer when they come to have to give another 2-3 extra referrals so that they can bring in business, number one. Number two is how can you have online presence, because actually their market, their target market was very much going parallel with the online market in Sri Lanka. So having more revenue channels was one of the strategies we added to them.
Right, so my question to you is a bit, I can understand where I'm going with it, but I just want to ask the question to you anyway. The question is, when somebody wants to start a business, the normal practice is to conduct a feasibility study. You need to do your market research, you need to know who your competitors are, what sort of a pricing strategy they sort of have.
Right.
Is it compulsory? Can people get lucky with it? So is it required to conduct market research before you enter?
That's a very good question. Actually, market research is better done through an inexpensive test. There's this very famous book of Claudia Hopkins. The book is called Scientific Advertising, and in that he mentions that any business, any marketing strategy, if you're going to start a business tomorrow, there's always an inexpensive way to test a segment of the market and see whether it's working or not. And this could be through a small advertisement, it could be from a number of questionnaires, surveys. So market research could be done in a practical way. You run a test, you see how it's going to operate. If it works, you put more money into that, and basically you have a business. What most people do, the mistakes they make, is they put so much of their hard-earned money into a business without testing it, without testing the market. Sometimes the product could be so good, but they market to the wrong market and they burn out all the cash, and there's no way to test other markets. It would have been so much easier if they would have tested one market, and if it doesn't work, that's fine, test another small market, small investment, and then they will probably find profitability there.
Right. So this whole process of revamping, how long does it take?
Well, I would say it's much more of optimization, because I mean, when it comes to a business, I strongly believe that you don't need a lot of money to start a business, any business, because any business is worked around people, relationships, assets. If you have a company which is doing a product, if you can find a market who needs that product, you can be the intermediary at the beginning and have a profit margin there and start a business. So for that, it doesn't take much time. It will probably take, it could be just a number of days sometimes. It's just a matter of inking it, having an agreement with them, and then starting off. Most businesses, I mean, if you take manufacturing businesses, which started small, they started as traders. They started buying and selling, they found a market, then they invested more money because they saw the profitability in that market and grew it gradually. Now, when I'm saying gradually, that doesn't mean that you have to stay for another 10-15 years to see profitability. But the first steps should be gradual, and after that, when you see profitability, you still can leverage by having collaborations with suppliers and buyers and increasing your business very fast. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Right, so the reason Mr. Edirisinghe is joining us today once again is to help you succeed in your business venture. The Road to Business, that is the name of the segment, and if you have a business that, as like you said, is not doing that well, or if it's doing well but you're not sure if it's going to sustain in the market in the long run, well, the number for you is 250-1610. Once again, it's 250-1610. Mr. Heshan Edirisinghe is with us. He would like to take your case study and help you in the future. Not, of course, on air, but in the next future episodes, they'd like to refer to some of the case studies and explain what's happening. So if you want to, once again, give your business venture a makeover, or to make sure it's sustainable in the future, please do get in touch with us. The number for you is 250-1601. So let's talk a little bit about what you have done in the past. Let's run through some case studies. How successful have you been in turning businesses around?
Yes, we've been pretty successful. The client also plays a big part. I mean, what we can do is we don't work for them, but we work with them. We can set up strategies for them which are very practical, and they need to implement the strategies that we tell them to do, because there's a reason that they have called us to help them. One case study is a foldable flat shoe for ladies. I mean, you might agree that having high heels all the time is quite hard in a corporate environment. So there was this product which is a foldable flat shoe which could be sold to the ladies market. We created 127 leads, warm leads, to purchase that product within just 6 days, and our cost to acquire a customer, a cost to acquire a warm lead. A warm lead is a customer who is very close to buy, was around just 40 to 50 rupees. So that is a very good case study. Another case study was I was helping a financial consultant, Hussein Muzaji, with his financial practice. He wanted to get leads for his events and for his seminars. So we ran something online for that, which gave him per dollar, he was able to get 40 to 50 leads. So there's a strategy behind, you just can't advertise and get leads, but there's a strategy behind it. But my point is, it's possible. It's always possible to make a success from a very small amount of investment.
Right. So my next question to you is a bit different. We're talking about companies who are not that successful or not that fruitful. But what happens if you want to make a bad investment? The question to you is, if a business is not that successful,
yeah,
is it wise to invest money in it with the intention of making it profitable?
If the business is not successful, there's a reason why it's not successful. It's probably they're not attracting the right market. Probably the quality of the product is not good. There could be a reason. So if you keep on doing what's already been done, which is going down a spiral, then you're definitely not going to succeed. However, that business already has workforce. That business already has relationships with customers. So you probably have to put some quality time in figuring out what exactly went wrong and see how you can leverage your existing assets. For example, I think that way you'll be able to understand it in a very good context. Let's say there's a curtain manufacturer who provides for all hotels, right? Let's say he's on a daily basis, he's working so hard, he goes all in Colombo and out of Colombo to find hotels to buy his curtains, right? He might think that the only product he could sell is curtains, but probably detergent companies, he could link up with air freshener companies, he could link up with probably furniture companies, because he's already having the relationship with the prospective buyer, which those other companies want to. He can act while he's selling his curtains, another couple of businesses along with that. So one visit, he's leveraging himself, selling 2-3 products. If the curtains don't sell, something else will sell.
Right. So there we go. We're talking about making your business venture successful. So we're going to give you tips through this segment, which is Road to Business. If you have any doubts, any questions you want to clarify, we can do so through the business show. You can write to us on our Facebook page, which is Business Today Channel I. Alternatively, you can call on 250-160-10. So if you have any questions you want answered, you can direct the questions to Mr. Edirisinghe through our Facebook channel, which is Business Today Channel I, or the telephone number, which is 250-1601. It can be anonymous. We can just throw the questions out on air, but we will find the solution and the most sustainable way of going about it. Now I'd like to talk to you about SMEs.
Yeah.
The SMEs in Sri Lanka seem to be struggling somewhat, and the sustainability of the SMEs are questioned. What sort of comments do you have to make regarding the problems faced by SMEs?
Because they are doing things which everyone else does. Okay, let me give an example. I think that's the best way I can give you the practicality of the whole thing. Let's say there's a retail shop, and there are no customers coming in. Let's say it's a salon, right? for some time of the month or the year, customers aren't coming in. He could probably not do any marketing and just stay. But any salon can have a proper follow-up process, because after probably, I mean, for a man, they had to cut their hair at least once a month. So they can have some kind of a follow-up system which doesn't cost them any at all. After 1 month they make a call. After 1 month they take the email address and an email. Okay, please come. We are waiting for you. We will be glad to serve you. So they are not being proactive. That's actually the right word. They're not. They're waiting. They're very reactive. If they have a proper strategy in place, okay, when a customer comes, take their details, follow up on them, get them come again, get more referrals from them. If they become proactive, regardless of the economy, you will see profitability, and I am a strong believer of that.
Right, thank you very much for those tips to make your business successful. The segment for you is Road for Business, and this was Mr. Heshan Edirisinghe from Witro Communications. He's the CEO of Witro. Thank you very much for your presence today, and we hope to catch up with you this time tomorrow.
Thanks for having me, Heshan. Thank you very much.